Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our admins who gave us this translation. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. The translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my own story as anonymous? So I came to South Africa, this was about 20 years ago. And when I came to South Africa, I met a man who was wonderful at that time, but he changed, Brother Nashi. And when I say that he changed in the bedroom, he was no longer performing like a man was supposed to. And he was a man who did not believe in drinking herbs. So when I would tell him that there are herbs, like even in my country, men, they do drink herbs so that they can please their wives. So he was like a hardened Christian, and he said that no, he did not want to drink any herbs, Brother Nashi. Things, they do happen. And I slept with my boss, and after that I slept with my husband's cousin. But now there is a secret, Brother Nashi, a secret that might even destroy my marriage. Brother Nashi, when I came here, this was about 20 years ago from Mozambique. I had big dreams back then, hoping to find a better life for myself. Soon after arriving, that was when I met my husband, whom I'll call CO. He was a South African man, not his real name, and we fell in love. He is a good man, a successful, wealthy, and kind-hearted. He is always trying to help people. If he sees someone stuck by the side of the road, even though he knows that it is quite dangerous, but he always tries to assist. We got married, and over the years, we had 3 beautiful children together. To the outside world, we had the perfect family. For years, I thought that my life was truly blessed. I had everything, a loving husband, a big house, and a stable life. But deep down, something was always off. Like the problem with him is that he could only give it to you maybe once a month. Then his manhood was not working. And then I started cheating on him, but it was not like I was a heavy cheater. I would just do it here and there, as a woman who was missing it in the bedroom. Now, when I look at my children, Brother Nashi, like even at that time, many years ago, after we had our kids, I would look at my children and I would feel this strange, unsettling doubt. They did not even quite resemble Sibo, and some of their features reminded me of other people, those ones that I had dated. I ignored those thoughts for years, but the thoughts always lingered in the back of my mind. And about a year ago, I overheard a gossip at a family gathering. So one of Sipo's cousin, whom I will call Mandla, at that time, he was the man whom I used to give it to. So he had gotten a little bit drunk and he wanted to talk about it. He wanted to talk about these kids. He was like, these kids, they don't even look like my bra. But the last one, since we had that child together, when he wanted to talk about the last one, that was when I stopped him. And then he knew, I think that maybe the alcohol got finished in his brain and he came back to his senses. He texted me and he said that he was really sorry, but I was so angry at him because he joked about how close he was to my children, hinting that he had more than just a family connection to them. Brother Nashi, at that time, most of the people, I saw that it had already planted a seed of doubt that was growing stronger with each and every passing day. So after many months of sleepless nights, asking myself, what exactly was I supposed to do? That was when I decided to do something that I never thought I would do. So I approached this other guys, and I secretly had a DNA test done for all of my children. The results, Brother Nashi, when they came, they were devastated. Brother Nashi, all of these kids, none of them belonged to my husband. Even when I was being handed these results, even the people, they felt so sorry for me because I was like, God, why not even one? At least if there was one, it was going to be far much better. But there was no one, none amongst the kids, do belong to my husband. The oldest, whom I'll call Tando, is the child of my former boss, whom I'll call Mr. Maseko, not his real name. When I first started working for him, I was really hungry now for a man. Years ago, we had spent almost 2 years, and I was hungry for a man. He made advances towards me. Maybe he just felt that this woman was hungry to be in the bedroom with a man that has a manhood that works, and I gave in. It happened a few times, but I never thought anything would come out of it. I convinced myself that it was just a mistake. It was a moment of weakness, so I told myself. But now, looking at the results, I realized that Tando was born from those encounters. The middle child, Brother Nashi, also belongs to my former boss. And I still do not understand how it happened, because at that time I was on a family plan, and in that moment of confusion, that was when we slept together. And when we slept together, when month end came, I saw that I had skipped my periods. So since I had a family plan, I never thought that I had fallen pregnant. And then that was when I realized that I had fallen pregnant. Brother Nashi, that was when I started getting so thin, because that was when I discovered that I had fallen pregnant. Then there was this other time, like I was in that moment of confusion since I was cheating on my husband. That was when Mandla, my husband's cousin brother, took advantage of me one night when we had all been drinking, and then we slept together. That is how it all started. All I know is that the DNA does not lie. As for the youngest, whom I'll call Noctula, belongs to my husband's cousin brother. So I was so careful after what had happened the first time, but somehow Brother Nashi, my husband's cousin brother, he managed to manipulate me again. I can't even believe that I let him back into my life that way. Now the truth is staring me in the face, and the truth, it is too unbearable. As for my husband, he does not know that this is what his wife, his beloved wife, has been doing. He does not know any of this. He still believes that all of these children, they belong to him, and I have kept up with that lie for all of these years. But now with the truth in my hands, I don't know what to do. If my husband finds out, it will destroy him. He loves those children more than anything, and I cannot bear the thought of him turning back on them or on me. I feel trapped. I don't want to lose the life that we have built, and I don't want Sipo to leave me. So I have been thinking about something that is very dark. One of my cousin's sister, she's the one who came up with this idea, since I told her the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and she was like, you're going to lose everything. If this man divorces you, you will lose it all, and you do not have any experience, because this man, he has been taking care of me ever since I came to South Africa. So my cousin's sister reminded me, and yes, indeed, I remember I have seen it done before back in my country in Mozambique. There are some charms, a charm which is used to control your husband, to make your husband to become obedient and almost like a zombie. Your husband will become docile, unable to think for himself, doing whatever the wife will ask them to do. I never thought that I would resort to something like that, but now I feel like I have no choice. My husband is wealthy. If he leaves me, I'll lose everything, the house, the money, and everything. I cannot go back to living the way that I did before, struggling just to survive. So I have started visiting a Sangoma, asking about charms that can make me to be able to control my husband. The Sangoma told me it is possible, but it would come with a price. I would have to perform certain rituals, use specific herbs and mixtures, and make sure that people ingest them without realizing it. Once the charm takes effect, he would become like a shell of his former self, still alive but not really living. He will do whatever that I ask without questioning anything. He won't leave me, and he won't care about the truth of our children. He will just stay under my control. But even as I plan this, I am filled with guilt. I know that he never wronged me. He had been nothing but good to me and the children. He does not deserve this, but I don't know what else to do. I can't face the consequences of the truth coming out. I cannot lose the life that I have fought so hard to build. The thought of turning Sipo into a zombie, it totally terrifies me, but it also feels like my only option. I have convinced myself that it is for the best, that this way we can all stay together and no one will get hurt. But deep down, I know that it is a lie. I know that if I go through with this, I will destroy everything that I left of our marriage and our family. I don't know how much longer I can keep this secret. Every time I look at him, I feel like I betrayed him. I can't stop because I am too far gone. The Sangoma has already started preparing the charms, and I know that once it is done, there is no turning back. I hope that when all is said is and done, I can live with the consequences of my action. I can't lose my husband. It is not a sin that when God created him, he did not give him that gift to make a woman fall pregnant. Because if he could make a woman to fall pregnant, why could he not make me to fall pregnant? I only slept with his brother, and his brother made me to fall pregnant, yet he failed. Dear listeners, right, there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister. She's the one who gave us this translation.